What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am the House Hacking Mom, and today I wanted to talk to y'all about how to start budgeting for your Christmas shopping, how to start saving up for Christmas, and just generally how to prepare for the holidays. We are already almost halfway through October now, and Christmas is going to be here well before any of us are actually ready for it. So it's important to start preparing right now. So let's go ahead and jump into this video. So when you're trying to create a budget for your Christmas shopping, for buying your Christmas gifts, the decorations that you're going to buy, the meals that you're going to make, the easiest way to start is to go back to your previous Christmases and see how much you've spent. Now, don't worry, it's not complicated. You don't have to go through line by line, see what you spent on your card or anything like that. All you need to do is go to your bank statements, see how much you spent in, I would say, November and December, and compare that to what you spent maybe in January and in February, for example. Or you could use whichever months you think are the best representation of your average spending. So let's say, your family typically spends $4,000 a month. But when you looked at your November and December months, you could see that you were spending more like $5,000 a month. So if we take that scenario, then that means that you spent roughly $2,000 on your Christmas. Now that's probably a little extreme for most people, or it might actually be a lot less than you typically spend depending on where you live and how big your family is, of course. So now that we have our starting point, we can work backwards to create our budget. So in this example, $2,000 is how much was spent in the previous Christmas. And you need to decide if that is an appropriate amount, if that is a reasonable amount for you to spend this year for your Christmas. If that is not a reasonable amount of money for you to spend on Christmas, then you are going to obviously need to plan differently and cut back. Because the only way it's going to be any different than it was from last year is for you to do something different. You need to plan and cut back on your budget for your Christmas shopping. So the next thing you need to do is you need to set your budget. So let's say you want to cap it at $1,000 this year, or $500 this year is the most you want to spend on your Christmas. You have to decide, does that include everything you're spending on Christmas, or if it's going to just include your Christmas shopping or your Christmas gifts. So for our family, we have two separate categories. We have a gift category that actually we put money into every single month of the year, and we pull from that both for birthday gifts as they come up for family around the year, and basically what is left over in that pot at the end of the year is what we will pull from for our Christmas gifts. And then we have a separate budget line item for our Christmas expenses. So that would be things like getting our Christmas tree, buying decorations, ingredients for a big Christmas cookie bake, or a special Christmas event. Things like that would come out of our Christmas budget line item. So you can choose for yourself how you want to do it. If you have not been putting into a gifts category throughout the year, then the easier thing to do would probably be to just have one big Christmas pot, one big Christmas line item in your budget. And what I would suggest is, it's October now. So what you want to do is to add a category in your budget or get an envelope, start putting money into that envelope that is going to be your Christmas shopping money. And the thing about Christmas shopping is you have to be reasonable. It's easy to say, we're going to cut back really hard. We're only going to spend, $100 on Christmas this year, or something, relatively extreme like that. Well, that's probably not going to actually happen. You're setting an unrealistic goal, unrealistic expectations on yourself, and you're not going to be able to meet it. So if you can avoid being that extreme, you want to stay reasonable of what you're actually going to spend. Otherwise, you're going to throw your budget out the window anyway, and you're not going to follow it, in which case having a budget doesn't help you. So what we do in our family for budgeting for our Christmas shopping is we draw names for our extended family. So for my brothers and sisters, and the spouses, we draw names every year for whom you are going to buy, and we separate up guys and girls. So for my husband and I, we only have to buy 4 gifts for my side of the family. We buy a gift for my mother, my father, and then I buy a gift for another girl in the family, and he buys a gift for another guy in the family. And we keep it to a specific set budget that we have agreed upon between all of us. So for example, you could set it to $20, you could set it to $50, you could set it to $100, whatever is going to be appropriate for your family and the budgets that you guys have. And we have done that for years, and it has cut back on the stress for everyone, and actually has made it so that people enjoy their Christmas morning a little bit more, because instead of getting a bunch of $15 to $20 gifts that you didn't really want, you're getting one or two nicer things that you really did want. So if you've never tried that before, you've never tried drawing names before, I really highly recommend that, especially for, teenagers and up exchanging gifts. For little kids, you're not going to draw names. You definitely don't need to break the budget for small children, and their parents will probably appreciate it if you are sending them home with something that is actually consumable, meaning it's something that can be eaten, drawn on, played with a few times, and then it's gone, as opposed to something plastic that's going to live in their house forever. Obviously I don't recommend drawing your own children's names or anything like that, but this is a great option for extended family. And it's only October, so there's plenty of time to get this idea implemented. You can run it by your extended family. You guys can draw names tomorrow, and then everyone has who they're supposed to shop for, and it's gonna make Christmas shopping way less stressful, and it's gonna be much easier to stay on budget. So now that we have our budget and we know how much we're gonna be spending on our gifts, the next thing we need to figure out is how we're going to come up with that extra money. If you don't have a lot of margin in your budget, how are you going to come up with that extra money for Christmas? Well, there's two sides to this equation, obviously. You can earn a little bit of extra money. You could do this by, selling off your old stuff that you're not using. You could sell some stuff on eBay. You could have a garage sale, sell some stuff on Poshmark, go to a consignment store and sell your stuff. Whatever you want to do. You could work extra hours at your job. You get the idea. You could add extra, or you can cut from things that you already spend money on. One of the things you can do this time of year before it starts getting really cold outside is you can really cut back on the amount of AC that you are using this time of year. You could set your margins on your thermostat really wide, so it's the AC is only going to come on if it gets really hot, the heat's only going to come on if it gets really cold, and you can kind of leave the windows open this time of year, and you're not going to be spending nearly as much money on your electricity bill this month. So maybe that only saves you, $20 this month, but $20 is another gift for someone. Another obvious one is to cut from your eating out budget. Now, if you don't typically keep a budget, then you have no idea how much you usually spend. But I can almost guarantee that if you were to stop eating out for the month of October and November, you would probably save hundreds of dollars. Now, you're going to be spending a little bit extra in your groceries if you're not eating out, but not nearly as much. You're going to net positive hundreds of dollars. This is a great time of year to get into cooking at home. Recipes for the fall and winter are wonderful, really basic. You can do a lot of easy slow cooker meals that can run while you're at work. You can do baking on the weekends, and it kind of lends itself to that cozy fall feel. So you can do it without feeling like you're restricting yourself very much. You guys know, if you follow my channel at all, that I love Aldi. I highly, highly recommend that if you have an Aldi in your area, to shop there, especially this time of year when you're trying to save money for the holidays. And I have a lot of Aldi grocery hauls, and I also have a lot of recipes on my channel that are very budget conscious if you need some ideas for things that you can make to help you save money for your Christmas time. Another way that you can try to save money for your Christmas gifts is to cut back on how much you would normally spend on your Christmas decorations. Now, maybe you don't think you really spend that much, but one trip to Hobby Lobby is $50 easy, and that's after the 40% off coupon. So if you can cut back on the amount of decorations that you are purchasing, I would never recommend that anyone cut back on the amount that they decorate, because I love Christmas. I am not a Scrooge when it comes to Christmas at all. I love the holiday feels, the holiday vibes. So you want to keep those up in your home, but you don't have to buy things, especially if you're young, you're starting out, this is maybe your first or second Christmas and you don't have a lot of decorations already. Go to thrift stores. There's tons of stuff that you can buy, really nice high quality stuff that people are just getting rid of, and you can get a little bit more creative with your Christmas decorations. Get some pretty red and white plaid throw blankets to put around, some candlesticks with candles. If you live in the South, find a magnolia tree and cut down a ton of branches, decorate your mantle with that. It will look like $1,000,000. Go to a fabric store and get it some velvet ribbon. It's not that expensive. I've even bought ribbon from the Dollar Tree that I've used to decorate my home and to wrap Christmas gifts and give them that extra personal touch. And lastly, the most important thing you can do for your Christmas shopping budget is to start actually buying gifts now. If you avoid the panicked Amazon shopping a week to a week and a half before Christmas Day, you will by default save money. If you can do some DIY gifts, start thinking about it now. Who can you actually make gifts for? Especially the people on your list who literally don't need anything, like grandparents, for example. Instead of going out and buying them something a week ahead of time that you know they'll never use and never probably even take out of the box, get creative. Get creative with your kids. Make a craft for them. Make some homemade soap, for example, and put your little kid's handprint on it. They'll think it's amazing and they'll actually use it. Put together gift baskets for people of things that aren't expensive individually, but when they're put together, they look really nice and you can present them beautifully. You can put $2 of hot cocoa and a $3 tea towel and a $5 candle and put it in a thrifted $2 basket and present it to someone, and it looks like a really sweet, nice gift. So again, the message is to start planning now. Start buying your gifts now. Start coming up with ideas for people. Most people would love a handmade item that is made especially for them. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video on how you can start budgeting for your Christmas shopping. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I make videos like this every week about frugal living, healthy eating, and minimalist parenting. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.